The White House was alive with anticipation. Staffers whispered in hushed tones, journalists adjusted their cameras, and security personnel stood at attention. Elon Musk was on his way to meet with President Donald Trump. But unlike his previous visits this time, he wasn't alone. As the heavy doors of the White House swung open, Elon Musk stepped inside with his signature calculated stride. But what truly caught everyone's attention was the small figure walking beside him. His young son, XAE-12 Musk. The child, barely 3 years old, clutched a sleek Tesla-branded tablet, his tiny fingers effortlessly swiping through futuristic blueprints as he walked. The moment they entered, the speculation began. Why would he bring his kid to a government meeting? A reporter whispered. Maybe it's just a family visit, another suggested, though the skepticism in his voice was clear. But those who knew Musk well understood he never did anything without a reason. As Musk and his son made their way down the grand halls, XAE-12 barely looked up from his screen, seemingly lost in complex data models. Meanwhile, his father remained unreadable, his usual aura of quiet intensity present as ever. Inside the Oval Office, President Trump was waiting. The moment Musk and his son stepped in, Trump's face lit up with amusement. He pushed aside a stack of reports on his desk and stood up, his grin unmistakable. Elon, Trump boomed, his voice filling the room. This is huge, I mean really huge. You know, people love when we get together. Biggest meeting of the year, I hear. Musk nodded politely. Mr. President Trump's eyes flicked downward, finally noticing the small boy standing beside his father. His grin widened. And who's this little guy? Musk placed a hand on his son's shoulder. This is X, and he's part of why I'm here today. Trump raised an eyebrow. Smart kid, Musk smirked. Smarter than most of Washington. A few White House aides shifted awkwardly, unsure whether to laugh. But Trump? He burst into full laughter. I like that. I like that a lot, he said, shaking his head. That's good. Musk led his son to one of the leather chairs in front of Trump's desk. X climbed up without hesitation, his eyes glued to the holographic display on his tablet, where real-time AI simulations played out complex economic models. Trump, ever the showman, leaned forward with curiosity. So tell me, Elon, he said, waving a hand. I know this isn't just a social visit. What's going on? Musk's expression turned serious. Mr. President, we need to talk about the future of AI, government efficiency, and how America is going to stay ahead in the tech race. Trump nodded knowingly. I love it. We already made you the head of DOGE. Brilliant move, by the way. But what's the problem? Musk exhaled. The problem is Washington. Trump smirked. Isn't it always? Musk tapped on his tablet, and the Oval Office monitor lit up with data. We have over 400,000 government employees working in agencies that are outdated, inefficient, and operating on decades-old systems, Musk explained. We're talking about departments that still rely on fax machines. Trump sat up straighter. Fax machines? Seriously? Musk nodded. Seriously. Meanwhile, China is outpacing us in AI, Europe is integrating automation into governance, and Silicon Valley is moving faster than the federal system can comprehend. Trump turned toward X, who was now fully immersed in an AI-generated projection on his tablet. Trump pointed at the boy. And what's he doing over there? Musk glanced at his son. He's modifying AI-driven economic simulations. I built an interface for him to play with. He looked back at Trump and smirked. He's 3, and he understands more about the future than most policymakers in Washington. The room fell silent. Trump slowly leaned back in his chair. That's both impressive and terrifying. Musk nodded. That's why I brought him. Trump raised an eyebrow. You brought your kid here to, prove a point? Musk smirked. Number. To demonstrate the gap between Washington and reality. Trump chuckled, clearly entertained. Okay, Elon, I like what I'm hearing. Let's say I want to fix it. What's the move? Musk didn't hesitate. You already gave me the authority to restructure agencies under DOGE. I say we eliminate the outdated ones, fire the bureaucrats slowing things down, and put real innovators in charge. Trump stroked his chin. Draining the swamp, Musk style. I love it. He turned to an aide. Get me the full list of agencies. We're starting today. The Oval Office buzzed with energy as advisors scrambled to gather information. Trump turned back to Musk. You realize, Elon, right now you're the most powerful unelected man in Washington. How does that feel? Musk smirked. Like an inefficient system that needs fixing. Trump laughed. That's why I like you, Elon. No nonsense. As the meeting wrapped up, X looked up from his tablet and suddenly spoke for the first time. Dad. Musk looked down. Yeah. X tilted his head. Are you going to be the boss of America? The room went dead silent. Trump's eyes twinkled with amusement. He pointed at Musk. See? Even your kid knows you'd be great. Musk chuckled, shaking his head. I think I'm more useful outside of politics. Trump smirked. That's what they all say, until they run. As Musk and X walked out of the Oval Office, staffers exchanged glances, knowing something big had just happened. Trump leaned back in his chair, tapping his fingers on the desk. He looked over at one of his aides and grinned. You know, he muttered, I wouldn't bet against that guy. Musk had no plans of running for office. He was too busy revolutionizing space travel, AI, and technology. But after today's meeting, one thing was clear. His influence over America's future had just reached an entirely new level. Elon Musk and his son exited the White House. But the real battle had just begun. The meeting with Trump had gone smoothly. But Musk knew Washington would not let such drastic reforms happen without a fight. The resistance would be swift, loud, and desperate. Back at Tesla headquarters, Musk was met with a room full of executives, engineers, and strategists. They had been following the news, already aware that something big was unfolding. How did it go? One of his top advisors asked as Musk took a seat. Better than expected, Musk replied, stretching his arms. Trump is fully on board. We're greenlit. The room stirred with excitement and nervous energy. A data scientist hesitated. So we're talking full-scale government restructuring? Musk nodded. That's the goal. One executive shifted in his seat. Elon, this is bigger than SpaceX Tesla. Bigger than anything we've done before? Are you sure Washington is ready for this? Musk smirked. Number. But they won't have a choice. Across the room, his son, XAA-12, was still focused on his holographic tablet, his small fingers adjusting AI-driven economic simulations. He looked up briefly and said, The system is too slow. It's broken. A quiet chuckle spread through the room. One of the engineers shook his head. Well, he's not wrong. Musk grinned. That's why we're going to fix it. The reaction from Washington was immediate. Members of Congress from both parties began calling emergency meetings, warning that Musk's influence was becoming too great. He's an unelected billionaire making structural changes to the government, one senator declared on live television. Another called it a corporate takeover of American democracy. Musk, as always, ignored the noise. A week later, he received an official summons. A congressional hearing was scheduled. They want to put you in front of a Senate committee, one of his legal advisors said. Good, Musk replied. It's time for a lesson. The hearing was a spectacle. The room was packed with journalists, lawmakers, and government officials, all eager to see Musk put under pressure. The senators sat in a long row, their expressions ranging from hostility to curiosity. Senator William Mitchell, one of Musk's most vocal critics, leaned forward with a cold stare. Mr. Musk, he began, you've been given unprecedented influence over our government's operations. Some say this is a dangerous concentration of power. What do you say to the people who believe you are overstepping your bounds? Musk clasped his hands on the table, completely unfazed. I say they should be more concerned about why the government takes 2 years to process a permit for a basic construction project. A murmur spread through the room. Some journalists chuckled, while others frantically scribbled notes. Mitchell narrowed his eyes. You're not an elected official? Why should the American people trust you with decisions that impact their government? Musk didn't blink. Because the American people don't trust Washington to fix itself. They've watched it fail for decades. The room fell silent. A few senators shifted in their seats uncomfortably. Mitchell cleared his throat, regaining his composure. Mr. Musk, don't you think there's a risk in allowing a single individual to push so much change without oversight? Musk smirked. I think the bigger risk is letting outdated bureaucracies continue to slow America's progress. One of the younger senators leaned forward, clearly trying to salvage the exchange. What happens when government relies too much on AI? What happens when jobs are lost due to automation? Musk looked him in the eye. People evolve, or they get left behind. That's how progress works. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Some senators exchanged looks. Others jotted down notes, no doubt preparing their next attack. The committee chair pounded the gavel. Order! Order! But the damage was done. Musk had just said what millions of Americans were already thinking. The hearing ended in chaos. Some senators stormed out. Others sat in silence, unsure how to respond. But the message was clear. Musk wasn't backing down. Despite Washington's resistance, Trump doubled down on his support for Musk's reforms. At a press briefing the next day, he defended Musk against critics. Elon is a genius, a real genius. And what do we do with geniuses? We let them work. With Trump's full backing, Musk's team accelerated their work. Outdated agencies were placed under review, efficiency audits were rolled out, and automation plans were implemented in several federal departments. While Washington fought back with legal maneuvers and public outcry, Musk moved at lightning speed. Late one evening, as Musk stood in his office reviewing reports, his son climbed onto the chair beside him. X looked up. Dad, Musk turned to him. Yeah. X tilted his head. Are you going to be the boss of America? Musk chuckled. Number, I think I'll just be the guy who makes sure it runs properly. The boy nodded, his fingers playing with the AI interface. Okay, but you're way better than them. Musk smirked. That's the problem. As Washington scrambled to keep up, one thing was certain. Elon Musk wasn't just influencing the government. He was reshaping it, and no one knew how to stop him. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that inspire and challenge us to grow. What would you have done if you were in his shoes? Let us know in the comments below.